And here we are live. So fun to be with all of you tonight, 7 p.m. Central. And this has been pawTree Day. We have been pawTreeing America all day long since 9 o'clock this morning. We've been live every hour on the hour. And here we are again with a wonderful opportunity to be here with two very notable guests. We've got Brooke Sloat, our Director of Product Development. Hello, Brooke.
Hey, Roger. Hey, Sandy. Hey, everybody.
And we've got Dr. Sandy Willis, a wonderful and incredible veterinarian from the Seattle, Washington area. We're so grateful to have you. Dr. Sandy is one of the veterinarians on our advisory council. And Dr. Sandy, thank you for being with us this evening.
Oh, absolutely. This is my favorite topic, and I'm excited to be here. It's been a great day.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I feel the same way. I feel like it's been a fabulous day. We've covered so many topics today. You've missed some of the earlier topics. Let me just briefly tell you some of the topics we have covered today include allergy relief. We've talked about, we had a whole Q&A session with the four veterinarians on our advisory council. We've talked about cognitive issues with senior dogs. We've talked about anxiety and occasional aches and discomfort. We've talked about digestive health and gut health. We've talked about bladder issues and hairball problems, about joint health and other aches and discomforts. And now this evening we are going to talk about a wonderful topic: pet food seasoning. We're going to talk about picky eaters. We're going to talk about superfoods. We've got some really great topics to hear from Dr. Sandy this evening. But before we jump into that, if we could, I always we've done this all day long, and we're going to do it again now, to do a drawing for some free products. Who would like to win some free products? Shall we do that?
Yeah, they're great. Great products.
All right, well, let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen here. I want to show everybody the options. If your name is selected, you can choose any of these items. You can choose 2 of our bowls from the website. You could choose any of our beds, any of our blankets. We've got very luxurious, comfortable, soft beds with beautiful fabrics. These wonderful matching blankets that are just gorgeous and soft and comfortable. So those are available for those names we draw. And if you would like to get your name in the drawing, we're going to have one more drawing in an hour at 8 p.m. Central. It's the last one of the day. So if you haven't had a chance to be entered into the drawing or win the drawing, all you need to do to be entered is to make a purchase from pawTree today, and you will automatically go into the drawing, or become a Pet Pro today, and your name will automatically go into the drawing. So feel free to do that between now and 8 p.m. Central, and you'll have a chance to win one of these amazing prizes. So let's go to our winners. We've got Karen, who has done the drawing. Drum roll, please, from Brooke and Sandy.
Yay.
Here we go. Our first winner is Mandy Kelly from Kansas.
Yay.
Yay.
Our second winner is Rochelle McLachlan from Michigan.
Hey.
And our third is Richard Payne from Idaho.
Yay.
Yay. You're going to love these things, you guys.
Northwest. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
So we will send you an email later this evening with the instructions on how you can claim your prizes. Congratulations, all of you. That's fun. Beautiful, beautiful products that you'll have a chance to enjoy. So tonight I've got 2 videos that I want to share with you to tee up this topic, and then we'll turn it over to Brooke and Dr. Sandy to really help us dig in, and we'll get a chance to peek into the mind of Dr. Sandy and her wisdom and her experience to help us all be more empowered as pet parents. But with that, let me share my screen here, and I'm going to go to our YouTube page, where we have a whole host of wonderful videos that are available for viewing. And I'm going to play this one right here, which is our Shake It Up video to introduce.
You don't like to eat the same thing every day, and neither do your pets. So shake up your routine with paw pairings. It's easy. Just sprinkle one or more of 7 delicious seasonings on top of existing food for a daily boost of superfoods, vitamins, and minerals, and your pets will love you even more for it. Bring love home with paw pairings.
All right. So
I love that every time I see that.
That is phenomenal. That is, at the end of the day, that is awesome. I love it.
well,
Says everything.
you know, it is such a great, I mean, in a few seconds, you just get the gist of it, right? You really can put yourself in those pet shoes and to think of eating the same thing every single day. And there are reasons why we do that. I know that we'll probably hear some of that from Dr. Sandy, but it doesn't mean that we have to give them that same bored, experience at mealtime every day of their lives. And so we're going to get into that. It's a wonderful topic, and this is a category that we at pawTree, we invented this category, this idea of pet food seasonings. This really is something that Brooke and I, we can remember the experience, and it was a journey to get there, but we remember where we were, the whiteboard we were drawing on when it all came together. And and one of the things that's so challenging about giving our pets variety is we know they have a very sensitive GI system, right? They have a very sensitive stomach system. We all have probably been there when you tried to give your pets some variety or something extra or a different food, and the result was not pleasant, right? You probably ended up in diarrhea or vomit or something that we didn't want to clean up and the pet didn't want to experience. And so we just stop and we just kind of say, okay, I'm locking that down and I'm just not going to experiment with variety. But of course, just like you don't like to eat the same thing every day, neither do your pets. And I will tell you the very abbreviated story of when Brooke and I worked on this. Again, this was a multi-year journey to get to this final insight. But one of the things we were exploring with our amazing pawTree nutrition, we were exploring the idea of creating multiple pet foods that all could be interrelated so that you could change up the food without upsetting the digestive system and having enough of a core base that you could feed a salmon food or a chicken food or a turkey food. And there were lots of reasons that we liked that idea, mostly because it provided this variety without the digestive upset. But of course, that would mean that people would need to buy and keep on hand multiple bags of food. And that's bulky, that's heavy. There's potentially some spoilage issues or the freshness issues, and so there were reasons that we also didn't like that. But that combined with several other things, which is a story for another day, led to this wonderful creation of the paw pairings superfood seasonings. And I want to play one more video, and then I'm going to turn it over here to Brooke and Dr. Sandy. This video, I'm going to also go back to our YouTube page, and I'm going to find, we've got a video specifically on our paw pairing superfood seasoning that talks about the health of this product, the benefits, some of the ingredients that are in this product, and the nutritional value that is in this product. And here, here,
cranberries, tomato, pomegranates. This is the list of the most healthy foods that we should eat. Why not give that to our pet as well?
Our pets must get so bored eating the same thing every day.
With our paw pairing superfood seasoning, you can actually change up the variety every single day and not upset the digestive system.
You can grab some superfood, shake that in. You can grab some salmon oil. It's like I'm cooking for my dog. It's amazing.
A superfood is an amazing product. It's a blend of antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, those things that really get your pet healthy from the inside out, from the cellular level.
Antioxidants are necessary to support general health. In the normal metabolism of the body, there's oxidation of chemicals within the body that releases what's called free radicals. And antioxidants basically neutralize the free radicals, stop the free radicals from damaging all the cells in the body, therefore providing good health.
So with superfood, it's not necessarily something where you're going to see a huge dramatic change right away, because that's not how micronutrients work. But your pet feels better, and you kind of have to have faith in the fact that that's the way the body works. We know this from many years of research. So when I add superfood to my dog's food, I think, oh, you're so lucky. I love it. I love that I feel like I'm giving him the very best. She just loves it. She just comes running through the house, and she's jumping up and down. I call it the double high five. She with her little paws, and she's just excited. I don't know what it is about the superfood, but she loves it.
All right.
Can't get enough. Love this. Love this one.
Well, our work here is done. I mean, that says it absolutely all. And it's nice to see all the comments coming in with people just going, yeah, this is my favorite video, or my dogs just love this. And it's just great to see. It's a great way to do the last nutritional talk of the day. I'm excited to talk about it.
Definitely. Well, Sandy, are you ready? We're going to jump right in.
Let's do her.
Okay. So as Roger said, we created this category of pet food seasonings. And why is pet food seasoning such a big deal? We gave you a little bit of insight to that, but and more specifically, why is Paw Pairings superfood seasoning such a big deal?
Yeah, and this is one of my favorite products because it's fun, it's nutritious, a lot of science behind it. And, I'm a stickler, particularly when there's a veterinary recommendation or an owner finds a food that their dog does really well on, and pawTree's got them. You want to stick with that. You don't ferment things that Roger mentioned, and people with their pets know that. But it does, video showed it can get a little boring. And the idea that it's a seasoning, it's superfood, it's got antioxidants in there. Crazier, like Mexican seasoning, some of that is obviously for the owners. We all know that. And your turducken comment that you could mix 3 and make it turducken, but you make it fun. And I was in the pet food industry. I know, Brooke, you were too. Back then, we just fed the same thing. How different do in the wild do animals taste? But it provides. It makes the food fun and interesting, so we can keep on a really good quality diet. There's the superfoods in there, all the nutrients and all the other little shots and whistles in there are just amazing. We can make it creative all the time. We can give them nutrients that may potentially, that with any cooking, sometimes you can get a few of the micronutrients and not be there in the food, so we can provide that. And it's just a win-win. And I think it's just a really creative thing to do. And I think people would assume, because when we salt or pepper or seasoning stuff, we think it's just like flavoring. And this is so much more with all the ingredients in there. And those superfoods, those antioxidant ones are just so I think that's why I'm really excited about it, because good nutrition is really important. And sometimes we don't want to change the diet. Like there's, diets that animals need to be on for medical conditions, but if we can encourage them to eat that. And as pets get older, giving you guys a break here a little bit, but as pets get older, their taste goes away a little bit. Maybe they have some diseases they're just not feeling as well, but they need to eat. We've learned a lot in cats where protein deficiency is really important and a problem, and so we need to make sure that they continue to eat. Besides, we want our pets to eat their food. It makes us feel good. I have a cat with metastatic cancer that I watch very carefully. She's on the Paw Pairings. I add a little bit to her food. She's a little picky. She doesn't like a lot in there, but she really likes that. And when she eats well, she feels good. She runs around the house. And sometimes I think it's my 2 younger cats, and it's the old lady with the cancer that's running around the house. So I'm really excited.
So Paw Pairings is, there's a few key ingredients to Paw Pairings, right? So it's a freeze-dried raw protein, so chicken or duck or salmon or turkey. or beef, and sometimes we combine a few. We have 8 different superfoods that go into them. Tomatoes, and I'm trying to remember all of them offhand. The tomatoes and kale,
pumpkin, carrot,
and sweet potatoes. What are the
blueberries,
other?
cranberries, and pomegranates from your notes. I love reading the list of ingredients. Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, they're so healthy, and they're superfoods. They provide the antioxidants, and then we put a vitamin and a proprietary vitamin and mineral blend in there, and just a little bit of extra deliciousness to make it just even that much better. But it's very simple, but it's very rich and it's very good. So I sometimes hear people say that they talk about flavoring, that, oh, it's a flavoring, or they refer to it as a flavoring. And I kind of take a little offense to that, because a flavor, based on the definition from the FDA, is anything, it's basically less than 1% of the named ingredient. It just has to be detectable, basically. So it's usually less than 1% of the ingredient that is in there. And so this is nothing like a flavoring, because it is so rich with, again, freeze-dried raw meat protein, named meat protein. I mean, you can see it, with the beautiful colors of, of all the different superfoods that are in there, et cetera. So why would you say that Pop Herrings is a solution for pets? Let's see. Because if you sprinkle a different variety, if you sprinkle Pop Herrings on their food, aren't you changing up their meal? Aren't you changing up their, and causing them to get sick again? Because, right, we said if you change their meal, then you're going to make them be sick. So if you put the Pop Herrings on, you're kind of changing up their meal, right? So wouldn't that make them be sick?
Well, I mean, I think the amount that you put on the food is really, I mean, it's a good quality of ingredients. It's very nutritional, but it's not a whole bunch to be put on the food. And I would think that most pets, and we're seeing people noting that, do really well on it. I think it's a great starter into pawTree to see this very unique product. I would be remiss to not say, as a veterinarian, and I'm a small internal medicine specialist, that not eating or turning your nose up at the food can be signs of disease. And we've talked all day about great solutions, supplements, foods, Pop Herrings, to help simple conditions, anxiety, energy, bladder, GI things. But if these great products, the pet is still not doing well, or despite Pop Herrings, they're really turning up their nose at it, there's something else going on. I'm a little sensitive to the fact that there's some animals that aren't eating because they're not doing well. It isn't like finding the right food. And we as veterinarians will know that they may go from their regular food to different food, and then they won't eat that, and then they'll eat table scraps, and eventually you're going like, we should have seen this pet a long time ago. But that is different than just having some variety in the flavors. And we've talked all day about, people know their animals, their pets. Most people have it. We see as veterinarians, pets that the owner's sure there's something going on, and there is. It's just so early that it's hard for us to pick it up. But conversely, there are special diets for animals that are ill, for which the Pop Herrings would help them eat the bulk of the diet, which is what they need, that has the ingredients that the veterinarians prescribe for whatever they have going on.
No, and I've been looking at some of the comments, and I did want to read this one from Leanne. She said, when Sonia was in the hospital to have her amputation and then having cancer, she would not eat at all. And I gave her Pop Herrings in my hand to keep her immune system up. And I remember seeing the videos of Leanne doing this on Facebook. And it was amazing, because Sonia did not want to eat anything, but when she smelled the pop herrings, she did want to eat it. So it was just amazing, and just wonderful to watch that. So it's really important when pets are sick and they need to be on a prescription diet, and that prescription diet is meant to do something very, very specific to help that disease state of that dog or cat, right? But if they're not going to eat it, something bad could happen. So they need to eat it for their health. How do you get them to eat it? Pop herrings is a perfect way to help entice them to eat. Sandy, why would my pet need superfood when I feed a quality food? Why would I need to add a superfood seasoning when I feed a quality food?
Well, I mean, I think there's, like you've mentioned the ingredients, there's additional boosts in there that you just may not find in the diet itself. And then, you know, with any creation of a diet, it could be really good, but you get a little loss in the processing of the foods. It's not that they're unbalanced, but this is, you know, it's a little bit above and beyond. And so and the fact that, I don't know, it's a superfood. And so it really concentrates the ingredients in there. So I think and the thing is, we've talked all day about see how your pet does on them and see how, you know, much better they are a little bit. We've talked about the fact that maybe a quality of diet is not optimal. And this could even, you know, bring it up a little bit of a level with the superfoods and the freeze-dried meat proteins and things like that. As we've also mentioned, though, the bulk of the diet should be as good as it can be, because there are some, it's unusual, but there are some dogs and cats that look like they have disease, and it's just the poor quality of food they're on. I mean, there are times we do tests, we do everything, we switch the food to something else, they gain weight, their coat looks a lot better. pawTree, I mean, the nutrition matters a lot. We talked about that earlier. And so this isn't exactly to replace that, but it adds a little bit more boost.
Yeah, no, it does. It really does help. And it's also, again, you know, we've talked about it's for picky eaters, you know, people, you know, dogs or cats who may not like everything or whatever, but it's so much more than that. And, you know, from the nutrition standpoint, it's both delicious and it's nutritious. And, you know, I just couldn't get over it. I have two quick stories. One, I was on the phone with Roger one evening. It was definitely dinner time. I had put my girls' food down. I have, at the time I had 5 Shih Tzus. I put their food down and I'm talking to Roger and I'm walking, and all of a sudden the girls look up at me. They're not going to they're not going to eat. And I'm like, they love their pawTree food. I don't understand. And I, all of a sudden, but they look up, they wouldn't go and eat. So finally I was like, what? And then I thought, oh, and I went and got the pop herrings and I put it on, and I'm talking to Roger the entire time, and I put it on, sprinkle it on their food, and they devoured their food. That they wanted the pop herrings. So I will also tell you, fast forward, now I have 6 Shih Tzus. What I do is was
that the superfood? Was that the superfood?
Yeah, exactly. Superfood made that right. Yeah. So I have 6, and I put their bowls out, and I will sprinkle. I put their food down, and then I will sprinkle a different pop herrings on every single bowl. And then they when I'm sprinkling, they go over and they sniff. And then they decide which one that they want. It's so cute. It's a game for me. It's just fun to watch what they do. But I have one who is very food motivated, Coco. And I've never seen a dog do this. She will lay down between 2 bowls and eat from each one. And it is, I have not videoed this. I just laugh every single time, but it is the cutest thing. And she just sits and eats, and, she just loves her pop herrings, but she picks her 2 favorite varieties.
I love it. Do you have any bottles there to show, Brooke?
Yeah, and then there's 10, is it 10 different varieties? There's such a choice.
I'll grab a few.
And then sometimes things like we talk about feeding, we want pets to eat the food, but we want our children to eat good food too. We just don't want to feed them candy. And this is a point that this is not candy. I mean, it tastes good, but with all the way you guys have formulated this, with the freeze-dried proteins, the superfood, vitamin and minerals, it's more so. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
That's
just
what they look like.
loaded with meat, loaded with superfoods and the vitamins. I mean, this stuff is just so nutritious. It is I just want to make sure everybody understands how nutritious this is. It is not a flavoring. It is not anything. It's not junk food. It is really pure deliciousness.
How are we going to get that? Yeah. Right. Exactly. And I love the story, Brooke, that somebody shared. I, as a medical person, that some animals, I mean, when they're really sick, they're not going to eat hardly anything. And cancer is a real example of that. And we have some medications that help improve nausea and there's some to make them feel better. But just to start out with just the paw pairings, I mean, we've been doing that for years with all kinds of other things to get animals just to eat a little bit. Because we're finding, and nutrition's huge, if animals are sick and they're not eating their food, and they've got to eat something. We like them to eat something special maybe, but they need to start out eating something. Then they get into negative metabolic, and their healing, their recovery is so reduced. And so this is, in post-surgery, I mean, you're not going to feed just the paw pairings, but that's a great way to start out in a really sick animal. I think that's a really great idea.
Yeah, it's interesting. Kara wrote in, my dog is sleeping and she starts wagging her tail every time you guys say paw pairings.
Well,
How great.
I know you talk about delicious and nutritious, but I want to just, if I could share my own personal story. I've got a video of this someplace out in social media land. I shared it one time, but I've got 2 dogs, and Bella she's 11, and she's, getting a little bit older. And so she sleeps a lot, and she has her little perch on top of the couch where she sleeps most of the time. And sometimes I'll, go to get their food prepared and their supplements, and I'll kind of get everything out, and I'll pour the food. And sometimes that, she also is starting to get a little bit hard of hearing, but sometimes the food will be enough and she'll kind of perk up like, oh, it's mealtime. But if she's still sitting on the couch, all I have to do is take this bottle and shake it. And that noise of she knows it's the seasonings, and she's sprawling off the couch, running to the bowl. It's like, it's time to eat, and not just eat, but enjoy, some variety, how you said, delicious and nutritious. And the way it makes me feel as a pet parent is not only like a good pet parent because I'm helping her with good nutrition, which I feel at the core I'm doing, but the other thing that's great is that human animal bond of, I'm enjoying, preparing, cooking for my dogs, and they're telling me thank you by their energy and their excitement. And so there is something about that human animal bond. We connect through food and through preparing these meals for them.
But yeah, I was thinking, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I was thinking about that when Roger was talking about the bond, and during these challenging times, we've talked about on and off during the day, is that our pets, I mean, people adopted tons of pets out of the shelters because we needed to do that and foster them. People are really hanging on to their pets and sometimes maybe being around the house a little bit too much, but the bond, I mean, that's my why in veterinary medicine. All that I do is I have 3 cats, and I'm very bonded to them, and it is a way to a reward, I mean, and not overdo it. We do have a problem with obesity in our pets, but this is a way to strengthen the bond, give them something kind of cool. It's fun. We can mix it up. In the video, I talked about putting the salmon drop, all the other stuff, and then it just is a win-win, and knowing that you're just not giving your pets candy, but something that they can look forward to, because the pets are just such an important part of our lives. It just is amazing.
No, absolutely. Latifa writes in, my friend has 10 dogs.
Yeah.
10, Roger, 10 dogs. Okay. And some of them weren't feeling good. So we put some paw pairings on their food yesterday when I was over there, and they all raced over to go to the food with the paw pairings. They are hooked. I told her she has to order now. Good for you, Latifa. You tell her. 10 dogs, Roger, 10 dogs. And then
excuse to add more, so that's why she keeps saying that. She's got 6.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I had one here. Amanda wants to know, can I change the flavor of my dog's food every time I order? So my question, Amanda, I'm assuming that you're ordering paw pawTree food. Okay. And you can absolutely change the variety of food. You can order whatever you want to order when you want to, but what we were just talking about is when you change a pet's food, and even though our foods are formulated similarly with similar bases, et cetera, so that the idea is that it's easier to change, depending on your pet, you still may have, you might still cause some upset tummies, right? We always say on our bags that we always want you to do a 5 to 7 day transition period. And for pets that have more sensitive tummies than that, I would tell you to do, even 10 days. Everybody should have that on their bags. It's a normal transition period because every pet food company has the same issue. And what happens is, you'll run out of food, you'll go buy a new food, and not transition. The dog, let's just say the dog gets sick off of the new food, and automatically it's the new food's fault. It's not. It's the lack of the transition period, because their digestive tracts are just so much more sensitive than ours, because like we can eat something, I can eat Chinese food tonight and I can eat Italian food tomorrow night and not get sick, but our pets can't. So that's where I think the better option for you would be truthfully to buy one food and then buy some paw pairings and give the variety through the paw pairings. But if you want to give them the variety, some people make this I'm not going to say it's a mistake. Any paw pairings is better than no paw pairings, right? But I think that, you should have at least 3 so that you can rotate. So if you feed chicken one night and beef the next night, the next morning, and then salmon the next night, they're getting different variety. They're going to run to that bowl because they don't know what they're going to get. It's a surprise every time, right? And they love every single one of them. So, right. Yeah. So, you want to continue, the idea is variety. So change up their variety with seasonings, not necessarily with the food. But if there's a reason you want to change their food, feel free to write into support and we'll get back to you and help you. So. Are you seeing, I'm just trying to, I'm seeing all kinds of comments. They love paw pairings. Any comments, Roger, that you're seeing that question?
No, I think a lot of great comments. I don't see too many specific questions. So maybe we, Dr. Sandy, is there anything, or did you have one, Brooke?
Well, it's not a question, it's a comment, but I do want to address this because, so Joe says, the salmon bottle I opened the other day had big chunks of freeze-dried salmon coming out. And, we do. It is not a powdery seasoning by any stretch of the imagination. This is real meat in there. So we have different size chunks by design for palatability, for mouthfeel, for deliciousness. So that's why we did it that way. And in fact, the cap that we have does not have little holes in it. And some people were questioning, why don't you have little holes? It's because we designed it so pieces of meat will fall out, and pets really do enjoy. Mouthfeel is a very important thing for pets to enjoy their food. So we took all of this into consideration. This was, I remember when we when the idea came to fruition completely, and it was like, we got it. This is it. And, so this has just been a fabulous product. And I'm just so glad that we developed it.
No, that was a really great question, because people probably assume it's a little bit, because it looks like it's a flavoring. We're not used to chunks coming out, but the freeze-dried raw meat protein is not going to be found in seasoning salt and stuff like that. So, but
right.
Those are really good points. I love the person that says, I just shakes the container and her dogs come running. And sometimes we can't get our cats and dogs to come, and then just shaking the paw pairings. It's not exactly the way it's intended, but would bring them to come. But no, I think it's for people that are hesitant and trying new things is tough. The people want to just kind of see it for themselves. And I just think it's such a unique product. And I know that I worked a pet event with the team up here once, and it was just so exciting to see what people are just, they could really relate to this. Like everybody's mentioned here, they had pets that it was just the whole, pet food's just boring day after day. How can we shake it up a little bit with a good product? And then it's a way to introduce people to the pawTree and the fact that you guys are balancing supporting the bond with doing it with great nutrition. And it's just with great people that are just absolutely fabulous. And then the other products we've talked about today, to take care of, those little aches and pains and small things that pets have coming along. If they don't respond or not eating, people know their animals, then we really, especially during this pandemic time, the veterinarians are there. We're doing it curbside. We're doing it differently to make sure everybody's safe. But we need to see the pets. We know that people are waiting a little bit, and no matter how simple a problem can be, if we wait long enough, it can be a significant problem. And I know that Pet Pros encourage that as well. But early veterinary care, if you're concerned at all, just have it checked out. Most of the time, it's not as bad as you think it is, but that's another way of loving our pets. And then we can come back and make sure everything's okay and continue to feed them and give them the supplements that work for the small things.
Yeah, and this with paw pairings, as with our treats, these are low calorie. So you could give a little sprinkle, and it's a nice little treat for your pet, and you're not adding a lot of calories at all. Very high protein. It's really good. So I'm not.
Yeah, most people are singing the praises, which is
I know.
Really
I'm not
great
seeing a
to
lot
see.
of
It's
questions.
my first time seeing the comments, which is just fabulous because I've learned every time I do anything with pawTree, I learn, but from you folks, but just the excitement around pets and the bond is so cool to see.
It is, and it's a wonderful, like you said earlier, Dr. Sandy. It's a great capstone. We've got one more segment this evening, which I'll tee up here in a second. That'll start at 8 p.m. Central. But this, this is kind of the capstone to the nutrition segments that we've had all throughout the day, and we've covered so many wonderful topics on nutrition. And if you've missed any of them, they're all in our Facebook feed. You can go scroll back and look, and I think they each have the header, so you can kind of get the gist of what the topic is. But they've been so informative, just so wonderful. There's been so much wisdom shared today. And Dr. Sandy, I just want to thank you personally for taking the time, not just this evening, but throughout the day today, to be involved with us and to share your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience with us. And it really has helped empower us to be better pet parents, more confident, pet parents to really feel good about what we're doing for our pets and find some new solutions to be, to do even more for our pets that can really make a difference in their lives. So thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Sandy. It's been awesome.
Been a true honor. I love being a part of this company. I honestly do. You're doing really good work. It's just it's fabulous. And for all the teams and all our pet owners out there, pet parents, it's just been fabulous. So thanks for the time. And I know that you guys welcome questions anytime from people. A lot of them are technical, but yeah, we're just a wealth of information. Make sure people feel comfortable about the products and are excited about them as their pets are about them as well.
Yes. Well, and
yeah, we want your tails wagging too, not just your pets.
That's right. and I can say, in kind of wrapping up at least the segment about, seasonings, and superfoods and this nutrition segment, I have such a passion for what we're doing. Obviously, you probably shows. I'm the founder of the company. I mean, there's a reason I left my job as the CEO of another major pet products company to start pawTree, because this vision statement that we've shared throughout the day to create a world filled with unconditional love where pets and their people thrive is at the heart of everything we do. And that's why we don't compromise when it comes to the quality of the products. That's why we don't compromise when it comes to what ingredients we put in and the combination of ingredients that we put in and the quality of those ingredients that we put in. And you've heard Brooke talk before, beef isn't beef, right? The same way all ingredients, you can get ingredients from different sources with different, care put into them, with different, the way that it's produced or grown or cared for. There's a whole range of quality that can be addressed when you're making a product, and we're uncompromising across the board on all of it. We just absolutely want to make sure that our products deliver meaningful results to pets and their pet parents. And so that's at the heart of everything we do. And with that in mind, if you haven't tried our Paw Pairings Superfood Seasonings, and you've read all these amazing comments here, that people have shared, I would just invite you to go try them. Just try them. Go place an order right now and just see for yourself and see how it impacts your pet family's lives. And the good news is if you like them and your pets like them and you have the same type of experience that so many of us have, you'll be grateful that you tried them and that the person who invited you to watch this invited you. And so that's the upside. And the downside, if you're not happy and you don't see results or you don't have the same experience that so many of us have, we just give you all your money back. So there's really nothing to lose and you have everything to gain. And so I invite you tonight to go place an order, try these Paw Pairings Superfood Seasonings. The best way to do it, we've got a 3-pack. It's a wonderful, we've got 10 different bottles, but we have a 3-pack Surprise Me seasoning. And that's honestly my favorite. That's what we get in our dogs' orders, because that way, every time our shipment comes, it's a different variety of those 3. We've constantly got different options to mix up mealtime and make it interesting and fun for the pets. So I encourage you to try that. And the last thing I'll say is we kind of segue into our last session of the evening, the last session of the day. We've deemed today pawTree Day. It's been an absolute blast. We've given away tons of prizes. We've learned massive amounts of information to help us be better pet parents. We've learned about the business opportunity to make an income with pawTree, and that really is another part of the heart of how we help people thrive. Is by, we don't sell in any pet stores. You won't ever see our products in a pet store. In a retail store, what you will, how you will find us is people like the person who invited you to come participate in this live. It's through relationships. People share our products, and when they buy, that person who shared gets rewarded in terms of commissions and compensation, and that's a really wonderful part of who we are and what we do. And we're going to be talking more about that tonight in our final session, 8 p.m. Central. Come join us for that. If you've participated in any of our sessions today, you see the passion we have, you see the impact we're having on pets' lives and people's lives. And at 8 p.m. Central, we'll do our final drawing. So if you have, you've got, 17 minutes left to place an order or sign up as a Pet Pro and be eligible for our last drawing of the evening. And at 8 p.m., we will welcome our 8 p.m. Central, our final guest of the evening, Amber Sanders, one of our 3-star vice presidents, one of our Pet Pros who has built a wonderful, incredible business, has helped so many pets, so many people, and we'll get to hear from her. And for any of you out there who are thinking to yourself, hey, I wonder if I could earn some money, by sharing the pawTree products, you don't want to miss this session at 8 o'clock. Come join us. And until then, Dr. Sandy, thanks again.
Oh, this has been great. Missing everybody, but this is amazing. And thanks for all of you guys that have said hi on the messaging. It's so great. Love you guys.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Dr. Sandy, and thank you, Brooke. And for everybody else, I'll see you in 16 minutes back here for our final session. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks. Bye.